everybody, welcome back to Chelsea Bakes. Today on the Thanksgiving episode, we're going to focus on 2 no-bake recipes. So I know when Thanksgiving dinner comes along, you might be too busy with cooking the dinner and the main turkey to focus on the side dishes like the desserts. So today we're going to do a no-bake apple dip and a no-bake pumpkin pie cookie. So let's get started first with the no-bake apple dip. So first you're going to want to start with an 8-ounce container of cream cheese, and you can actually double this recipe, so you would use 2 if you're using a 9 by 13 dish, which is a little larger than the square one I'm using. And you're going to want to spread the entire dish of cream cheese at the bottom of your baking pan. So just make sure you have an even layer. Again, this is a really easy recipe, so it takes probably only about 5 minutes to get the ingredients ready and for the dessert to be made. And this is a huge hit between kids and adults. Make sure you just keep spreading it so it's a nice even layer. And the nice thing about these desserts is they don't have to be perfect. You can kind of just put it in there and keep watching your turkey while you're doing this. Okay, so once you have a nice even layer of the cream cheese, then you're going to want to use 1 container of soft caramel dip. So next you're going to spread the container of caramel dip on top of the cream cheese. Just make sure it's nice and spread even. And again, if you're doubling the recipe, you might want to use 2 of these or at least 1.5, depending on how much caramel you want. To make sure the caramel is completely covering the cream cheese. And then for the last step, you're going to sprinkle a bag of Heath toffee bits topping. Okay, so we're going to sprinkle the toffee bits on top, make it a nice even layer. Should probably be okay with half a bag, and then if you double this recipe, you can use the whole bag. And then for the treat to dip in this dip, you'll want to use apples or you can even use graham crackers or vanilla wafers, but I like to use apples with the dip. So you can get an apple slicer, just slice your apples with nice even slices. And I like to mix the Gala apples with Granny Smith, but whatever your favorite apple you can use for the recipe. And then we'll use a Granny Smith. And you can just peel the apples apart. And sprinkle a little bit of toffee bits in the middle. And there you have it, the caramel apple cream cheese dip. So that's our first no-bake recipe. Right after this quick break, we're gonna get to making our no-bake pumpkin pie cookies.
What's on tonight? Alexa, launch Netflix.
So now we're going to make our no-bake pumpkin pie cookies. These are a great alternative for pumpkin pie if you don't have time to bake that or wait for it. This is quick, easy, even the kids can help on Thanksgiving morning. You can even make this recipe in advance and freeze them for several days. They last frozen up until about a week. And let's get started. So you want to do this recipe and start stovetop. So first we're going to need to add 3/4 a cup of butter or a stick and a half of butter. Next, you're going to want to add a cup and a half of sugar. And you're going to want this to boil for 2 minutes once you add the sugars. So a cup and a half. And then we're going to add half a cup of brown sugar. This has a lot of sugar and butter in it, but it's really good. And then lastly, 2/3 a cup of milk. So this is 1/3, so we're gonna add 2 of these. And then you want that to boil for 2 minutes. You also want to stir it, make sure everything's mixing up. To really mix it, make sure all the clumps of sugar are combined with the butter. And let that boil for 2 minutes. So once you let the buttermilk and sugar boil for 2 minutes, you're going to want to take it off the heat. And then we're going to mix in a pack of vanilla instant pudding. It's a 3.4 ounce container. You can also use the pumpkin pie spice instant pudding, but it's really hard to find. So if you need to substitute it, you can use a pack of the vanilla. Then you just want to stir in that instant pudding mix until it's well combined. It already smells so good at this point with the butter and the vanilla. So once you have the vanilla pudding mixture all combined, then you want to add 2 teaspoons of pumpkin pie spice. If you use the pumpkin pie spice pudding, you might want to only use a teaspoon, depending on how strong you want your pumpkin taste to be. But since we use the vanilla, I'm going to use 2 teaspoons. And then next you're going to want to add 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. And then combine the pumpkin pie spice and the vanilla extract to the mixture. I'm going to stir it for probably about 30 seconds to a minute. And lastly, you're going to want to add 3.5 cups of rolled oats, the instant cook ones. Three and a half. Then you want to combine the oats with the mixture. Make sure they're completely covered. And then once you have that all combined, you're going to want to let it sit in the pan or the baking dish, the saucepan, the pot, whatever you choose to use to make it in, for about 5 minutes. So next, after 5 minutes, then you're going to want to make your no-bake cookies on a piece of parchment paper or wax paper. So just scoop out like a 2-inch or 1-inch ball of the mixture. And the best thing about no-bakes is they really don't require you to make them perfect. You can just plop them down on the paper and let them cool and they're ready to go. So again, you can let these sit out, or you can put them in the refrigerator if you want them to solidify a little bit faster. But they're very quick and easy to make, and they're a great treat for everybody. So there you have it. We have a few easy no-bake recipes for your Thanksgiving celebrations. I hope you enjoyed today's episode, and thank you for tuning in again to Chelsea Bakes. Happy Thanksgiving.